G'day viewers, fellow gold refiners, gold lovers in general. Welcome back to my series of refining recovery without the use of nitric acid, or with as little as possible used. I hope you are enjoying this series. I'm trying to make as many as I can think of. In the comments, please leave me a request if there's something that you want to see. I may already be in the process of making it, or I may not have thought about it. So let's carry on with another one from the series. G'day viewers, welcome back to another episode of recovering precious metals with the use of no or very little nitric acid. As I promised in the last video, which was how much gold is in a laptop, I will also be doing how much gold is in a desktop. I have two to choose from. I think this one is a Acer, I don't know. I wouldn't know the first thing about computers. Or I have this Dell. I think Dell is an Apple product, or I don't know. I don't know if there's a difference between the two. I don't know if one would have more gold than the other. Wouldn't have a clue. To me, they're all computers. So since this one's right in front of me, I'll start with this one. Pull it apart, show you what's in there, show you the gold bits and pieces that contain gold, and then we'll go from there. Now, in my last two videos, I forgot to mention that none of the gold went through the wash process. Normally, once I've dropped gold, I'll rinse it 3 times with hot water, then boil it in hydrochloric acid, and then rinse it 3 times to get rid of the hydrochloric acid. I didn't do any of that. So the amounts of gold or gold powder that I got is a conservative amount. I would suggest that by the time it was washed, if I had washed it, that amount would be probably significantly less. I would have predicted with ribbon slots half a gram, so having 84.84 grams or whatever it was, I'd say by the time if it was washed, probably would have been about half a gram. And as for the 3 grams from the laptop, I was very surprised, and I highly doubt that there's actually 3 grams of gold by the time it's washed and treated. Once it's refined, I'm pretty sure there'll be a lot less than 3 grams. I've only just posted the videos, so I haven't had a chance yet for anyone to comment. No doubt someone's going to saying you've done something wrong, because it does seem like a lot, but you won't know, of course, until this video is out, that I'm now saying I don't think that's accurate because it hasn't been washed. I will endeavour to make sure that with this particular video I wash the gold properly to try and get a more accurate amount. So I apologise for not washing the last one. Please understand it is stinking hot outside, and I wanted to be out there for as little time as possible. Once the gold was dropped, I was happy to come inside. So I've showed you what the weather forecast is for the rest of the week, and it's just hot. This may take more than a week, because I won't be doing a whole lot in the heat. Might even be 2 or 3 weeks before this video is finished. So yeah, I'm going to try and work out how to pull this apart now. I have no clue. There's a couple of screws there. I'll start with those 2. This is not like the average computer, the one that's over there. They're a lot easier to pull apart. Yeah, if this is an Apple product, then that doesn't surprise me, because I hate Apple products. Not just because they're rubbish, but because they're hard to pull apart. They make things complicated. Dell, Macintosh, all those types of things, so much harder to do than Asus and other Windows type computers. And there's bound to be people who disagree with me there as well. There always is someone's always going to disagree with things I say, but that's fine, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Anyway, enough rambling on. I'll get on with pulling this apart. I just wanted to specify that the gold wasn't washed, and I apologise. I'll try and make sure I do it in this one. Alright, I'll show you when I get some things pulled apart. Well, I got the computer dismantled, and I'm going through the plugs on these ribbons to see if there's any gold. I've had some in the past that had no gold. I've had some that were all gold plated, full length. And I've often found there's a difference in the colour of the plug, but each one of these so far, including this little one, is a joke. I don't know if I can get this to focus or not. It's the tiniest dot of gold on the end of that pin. And see if I'm trying to hold, there we go. The tiniest dot. It actually looks like it's halfway down the pin, so that one's not so bad. I didn't see that look properly before, but these ones here, I took a pin out of each one of them, and I kid you not, it was like just the very tip of the pin. It was a joke. What is the point of even putting the tiniest dot on the end of these pins? I had to even look 2 or 3 times in the different lighting angles to try and find the gold, thinking there was none on there. And when I seen this tiny pathetic little dot, I thought, what a waste of time. And I'm not even going to bother putting these in AP. There's just, I can't emphasize, I wouldn't even be able to show you on camera, that's how small it was. The most minute little dot. This one seems to be okay, like I said, that one pin that I just showed you, I'm surprised. It's only on one side, but certainly better than what these were. However, this one here, I don't know what this is. I have no idea, don't need to know. I just want to know what has gold and what doesn't. I'll put these aside for a second. Best place they can go, in the rubbish bin. I'm not even going to waste my time. This one here, when I took this out before, there's gold pins in there. They look alright too. Now, generally speaking, and I could be wrong, but I have not been wrong yet in all the times that I've been doing this for over 10 years. If there's gold there, there's gold in the plug. I haven't pulled it apart yet to have a look, but I would bet my left nut that there's going to be gold on gold. It's usually always the way. I will pull this apart and check it, but you can see they look quite nice. So as for the rest of this board, pretty pathetic, doesn't surprise me. There's a tactical switch there, there'll be silver in that. There's nothing in these. There's a couple of USB slots that will probably have gold. Yeah, that one looks like it has. I have seen these a lot without gold on them. Most times they have gold. There's no gold on this one. So it's just that and these two here and a bit of silver in whatever this is. So I don't want to lose this plug that came off of here, and you can see by these pins that came out, pretty pathetic amount of gold. See how it's just on the ends? I don't know why this other one had halfway down, because they all came out of the same spot. Well, that's halfway along, but on the back side it's not. Confusing. Anyway, so we'll see what this other end looks like. Most likely the same sort of plug, so it's probably going to be the same. Come on, behave. I'll pull that one apart and have a look. I'd say it's going to be the same. Now, these cables here, someone could correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe these are called Sata cables. And I've always seen gold in there. I just caught a glimpse of it in the light. And what I do, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this while holding the camera. Just bear with me for a second. This is really awkward. I'll cut it and show you. 1 second. Okay. It's only on the ends. And it's not a very good quality coating, but it's gold. I've not yet come across a Sata cable that doesn't have gold. So there's that one there, both ends, and there's an orange one, and then also on the power supply there's these type of plugs which also have gold. The white ones don't, only the black ones. So on the power supply you've got this white plug, useless, there's no gold in that. On this end you've got that white plug, those white plugs, useless, no gold in those at all. There was a black one on the end there, that's the one I just showed you a minute ago. And this one plug that I took off one of the white ones and had these two black ones on the end. Typical for Dell. That other one, I'm sure, that other computer over there would have almost every single plug on the power supply would be like this, bar a few white ones. So a little bit of gold in those. Still got this cable here to check the pins. And there's this little plug here that had some black plugs on it, so that'll have gold in it as well. Very, very small, like I showed you when I cut one open. So how I'm going to be able to show you them once I've cut them off is going to be near impossible. So that's why I wanted to show you while they're on the plug. That's what I'm talking about. So we're just going to have these little tips cut off. And it's going to be pretty hard to show you later, so that's why I wanted to show you now. Alright, so I'll carry on. The motherboard here, I don't yet know what's under this heatsink. Sometimes it's a gold corner BGA like that. Sometimes it's the other sort that are useless. It looks like there might be some gold pins in there. This one would have white pins for sure, no gold on those. These ones always have gold in them. Got the RAM yet to come out. There'll be gold fingers on that. IC chips, gold corner BGA. Now these things here, I do not know what they are. I see them quite a lot. I don't know if that's gold on there or not. When you turn it over, there's nothing on the other side. They're a very dark colour, like as if it was a real pure gold. There's a couple down there. I see them all the time, and I put them in my gold container just in case. But I don't even know if it's just what it is. So these white plugs here might have gold, I can't quite tell. It looks like they might have. Some of these black ones, that one there, I mean, could have gold on the very tips. They're usually a pretty poor coating. I haven't opened up the CPU yet to have a look. Some gold pins there. On the other side, nothing. So that's the motherboard. Now, I don't know one thing. I wouldn't know a sound card from a video card if I tripped over it. So I don't know what these are. I can only guess that since this one has like an aerial type thing on it, that it might be for having access to like Wi-Fi or something. I don't know. Some nice gold fingers on there. Nice gold, whatever that is, plug, connector, whatever. There's this connector thing just here. Looks like there's some gold on the board. Haven't looked under this metal. There's most likely going to be some ICs. Then we got this one here. Again, I don't know if it's a video card or a sound card. Don't need to know, as long as I just know what's got gold, what hasn't. Some nice gold fingers on here. I've got to open up this plastic box to see what's under it. Most likely some IC chips. Not much else on there. There's some gold fingers in there. This board here, some more nice fingers on there. So this is why I prefer desktops over a laptop. Yes, laptops have got a lot more IC chips and BGA chips, and some people say because they're smaller they've got to cram the technology in, there'll be a lot more gold in the IC chips, but I don't know. My view is if they're bigger, there's going to be more gold than if they're smaller, but I could be wrong. Like I said, what do I know about computers? I don't know what's under that heatsink. There could be a gold corner BGA, or there might be rubbish. Some nice ICs on this. I don't know if that's got gold in it, I wouldn't have a clue. Some nice MLCCs, I'll be taking those off. They won't be included in the video because they're not gold. Some gold pins in here most likely. These white ones definitely do have. These ones will probably have like on the tips of the pins from my experience. So can't wait to see what's under there. And then there's the this is the CD drive, and I don't know if this is a floppy drive or some sort of memory stick reader or something. I don't know. I don't often see these, so I'll be looking forward to pulling that apart. The last one I saw that was similar to this was a floppy drive, but it didn't have the 4 sections like that. So plugs in there. Alright, so I'll get pulling some more things apart and show you. I just wanted to mention about these pins before I went any further. This is just an update to show you where I'm up to. I've removed all the MLCCs from this board, and it's ready to be heated up with a heat gun to remove things like these pins and IC chips and so on. Gold corner BGA. Now here's a tip for you guys playing at home. If you're going to use a heat gun, you need to remove these aluminium capacitor. I just twist them. It's easier when I'm holding the board as well, and off it comes. If you don't remove those, they will explode when you use a heat gun. So yeah, just pull them off now. There's nothing else to remove. I've removed the MLCCs from in the middle there, and that part there will now come off with the heat gun. And there's nothing on the back. So that's that board. I've got this board here. It's a nice board with gold all over it. MLCCs. And it's got this connector on here, which I didn't break off yet because the pins, although they don't look gold there because they've got solder on them, they will also be gold plated. The solder's covering it, so I will heat that there with the heat gun. The solder will melt, that will drop off. Not a lot of gold, but gold's gold. There's also a gold border oscillator. I think that's what they're called, gold border oscillator. There's a few MLCCs I've got to remove yet. I forgot about this one. Another nice one just there. There's a light on there which I'll take off, that'll have gold in it. So I'm just going to get my little pointer out. This is recommended to me by a viewer. I've got these gold things here that I told you about on the board. I've got a light there. I've got the processor. I've already removed the MLCCs from the processor. Unfortunately there's no pins on this one. And I checked out the copper underneath it. It's got a nice layer of gold. But unfortunately I can't include that in this video because that will have to wait till I'm doing sulfuric stripping cell, the electrolysis, reverse electroplating. I've got about 20 now that I'm building up. There's no point in setting it up just for that one. So, but that was a nice find. Then I've got a variety of pins that I've pulled out of different plugs, including some bridges. These bridges will have a bit of gold that goes from one hole to the other. This is magnetics, and now it's going to start picking up pins. Get off there. I need a new pointer, I think. And I didn't really want that to fall off in my view. Right, so we've got quite a few good pins. Some of them have got a nice gold plating on them, some of them pretty crappy. Some of them are nice and dark coating, but they're only half length, which is a shame. Then I've got all the gold fingers. Then I've got the ram sticks. Sadly, they're only ICs on one side, BGAs I mean, on one side. But that's okay. It'd be better if they were double-sided. These MLCCs are too small to pick off now. I'll wait till the heat gun gets them. Got a really good chunky piece of, oh this is heavy, a good chunky piece of extruded aluminium. I haven't seen one this big in a long time, and this is really heavy. That's a beauty, I like that. Then we've got this board here. It's got an IC chip on there and one of these things. Another IC chip there. Got this board here, it's got some nice gold pins on it. And a couple of plugs there. Nothing much on that one. These have all been, all the MLCCs, the really big ones have been taken off. There's a lot of small ones on there. My eyesight's not so special, so I couldn't see them until now with the camera lens viewing it. So I'll get those when I'm heating them up. And this last board here, it's got some ICs on there. More ICs on there. And possible gold. There's definitely gold in this white one here. And there'll be probably just the tips of the pins on this one. Maybe, I don't know about the black one. Quite often they do not, and sometimes they do. So there we go. Now I'm up to the part where I remove everything with the heat gun. So I've picked off anything that's good. And these things will all go into this little bucket that I've got here. Keep them all together, and they'll be treated differently to the IC chips. Right, so I'll carry on. And finally here we have the power supply. I've removed all the copper coils and the transformers and the wire and things, so that it makes it easy for you to see. So we have some three-legged transistors there, 1, 2, 3, 4 that I can see. ICs. Now, here's where some of you are going to get up and antsy with me. These transistors, there's 4 there, 3 that side, and 2 there. I don't do those. Yes, they got gold in them. I don't do them. I tried once and I found that this big copper plate was a nightmare. This is all copper. And when I was trying to pound them in my dolly pot, it just made it near impossible. I tried using a blender and it broke the glass bowl, because these pieces of copper, they're heavy and thick, and when they're flying around inside the blender, it just smashed the jug. There's a little black diode of some sort there I'm collecting. They apparently have gold in them. I don't know yet. I have not done them yet. So for those who are trying to get every bit of gold. So that's what we got here. I'll be taking off and including in this batch, except for the transistors. So that's the last of the gold which I will be getting from this computer. Now it's time just to put it all together and try and process it. Alright, so I've just depopulated everything, and there's a hell of a lot more here from a desktop than there is in a laptop. We'll start from the left. So we've got the gold corner BGA. Normally you would separate the top from the green fibre. I'm not going to in this case. I know there's only the tiniest little bit of gold in the green fibre, but gold is gold. We're trying to see how much there is. So this and BGAs and plugs and things will need to go in hydrochloric acid first to eat this tin off and the solder. Then we've got this little plug connector, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be nice. And I've got a lot of ICs there. Way more ICs than I had in the laptop. And we've got these plugs. There's nice gold pins in them. I may pull those out of the plug yet, I don't know. It's not going to matter whether I do or not, it's just going to be easier. This is the PCU slot, CPU slot I mean. That's also going to need to be put in hydrochloric acid, get the solder off. The tip to getting these off, by the way, in case you want to know, I don't heat this part up. I turn the board over and I heat the back of the board in this area where this is sitting. I make sure it gets real hot because it's only surface mounted. And then when it's really, really hot, I give the board a whack on the side of the tub and this will fall off. That's how I do it. So I've got all these plugs here. I don't normally do these ones, but I will in this case. Same with those. They've usually got the tiniest bit of gold tips on the pins. But we're trying to see exactly what we can get. More plugs here, which I may pull apart. I'll get the tin off, definitely. I may just put them in AP. I don't know if I'm going to do that or pull them apart yet. I haven't decided. More pins there, more plugs. Now, there was a lot of these transistors, and as I stated earlier, I don't like doing them, but look how many's there. I don't feel that I would get a good reading of how much gold's in a computer if I don't do those. So against my better judgment, I've decided to do them. And then look at the BGAs. Look how many BGAs I got. That's a good pile of BGAs. I think I only had 3 or 4 on the laptop. So this is going to be nice. It's quite a nice range of stuff there. These racks here, I'll break into smaller sections, probably about that long, so they can fit in this bucket. And I'm going to put AP in here, and all these things are going to soak in AP. There's a little rack of pins there that came off. This board has now been depopulated. This will go into some hydrochloric acid first to eat the tin off. I'll chop this board up smaller so it can go in there. I'll probably chop it into about 3 pieces along that gold line, and then maybe along here somewhere so it can fit in there nicely. And there we go, that's all the things that we're going to process. These plugs, these ones here are very easy to pull the pins out of, these little ones. So I'll definitely pull the pins out of those, most likely pull the pins out of those. These ones I won't, I find them too difficult. I'll just put them into the AP as they are. Same with these, like I said. Same with these ones, because they're the same as the white ones, but black. These ones I'll probably pull apart and get the pins out. This will go into the AP as well. That will burn. ICs will burn. These will burn, the transistors, and the BGAs will all get burnt. My main problem is today is 42 degrees Celsius. It's ridiculously hot. Yes, I'm a sook, I know. But I'm having the issue of extreme fire danger. We have a total fire ban. Can't even do the outside barbecue cooking. So the only thing I can think of is I've got a toaster oven outside. I'll use the grill part facing down onto these things in a melting dish. Turn it on and leave it on for a while. See if that does anything. I may have to finish it off with a MAP gas torch, because there's no way I can light a fire and put these things in the fire. Not for at least another week or so. So anyway, there's the range of things. Now that I've depopulated it all, it's time to go and sort it all out. Start processing it. Okay, it's about 5 o'clock in the morning. Get started before it gets too hot. So I've got the BGAs and so on in there. Tip them into this plastic container and put some used hydrochloric acid just to soak, get all the solder off. Ideally it should be hot, but this will work. And also I'm going to put some in here, soak all the solder off the pins and a bit of board that's in there. And so that's sit for an hour or two. Have a look, see how they're going. When they're floating, see if I can get him. Look at him. May need to sit a bit longer. If it does, I'll put it in today's direct sunlight. It's going to be enough to cook anything. So I'll just leave those for a little while and check on them soon. Hydrochloric acid should just remove all the solder without even being hot. So I'll come back to it. Oh, the HCl has done a nice job of getting rid of the solder. Everything's nice and clean. So I'll put some old AP in there. I'll put the lid on it so it doesn't evaporate in this heat. And now these can go back in here. I've got to pick those out and put them in here, and I'll go and put it in the toaster. Alright, let's do this. So I haven't used this toaster in a while, so I'm hoping it still works. Get those dangerous cords out of the way. Not a good idea. I should be able to put that in there. Right under the grill. There's a grill up top under there. And I hear it going, but I don't see a light. I just got to check the power cords and make sure it's, because the light should be coming on. So I'll just make sure the power plug is plugged in. Alright, so it's going, and I think that's 1 hour. I'm not sure, but I'm just going to keep coming out and turning it on. When that runs up, I'll put it back on again and again and again and again. See how that goes, and if it doesn't work out properly, I'll finish it off with a torch. But I'm hoping this works, because it might be my solution through this hot time to be able to do some stuff. Okay, so it's 5:30 in the morning, and the only way I seem to be able to get anything done in this heat is to do it early. Now these pins are well and truly ready. They've been in there for like a month, 3 weeks or something, 3 or 4 weeks. So I'm going to pour it through my brewer's bag, return the AP back to my container, and collect the pins, wash them, put them in aqua regia. I need 2 hands, so I'll do that now. So they've been washed now, and I'm going to put all that into the AP, into the AR, because there could be gold trapped in amongst them. Filtering the liquid now. This is the wash water that I've squirted these down with to clean off my filter. So the water collected in here. Now I'm just going to filter it all because there's gold all through it. While that filters, I'll deal with the things that I had in the toaster here. It didn't get hot enough to incinerate, despite me doing it many times. It just wasn't hot enough. It burnt them a fair bit, but they're not white ash like I want. So I'll finish them off with the torch, and that should do the job nicely. I'll use my right hand because I'm right-handed. Might help if I turn the bottle on. I'll just get something to turn those over with and see what they're like on the other side. Okay, so while they cool down, I'll go back and check the solution, see if it's finished filtering. I'd say the filter paper is blocked up with gold, so it might take a while to get the last of this liquid in there. There's still more to go, so it's going to take a while by the looks of it. It's probably all choked up down the bottom there with gold. I'll come back later. Well, they're nicely burnt to white ash. That's how I like them. Now I put them in my dolly pot and crush them up, and there's such a small amount there, I'm not going to bother gravity feeding all the ash, getting the ash off. I'm just gonna put the whole lot into a. It's not worth trying to get rid of the dust for such a small amount. So I put the ash in a clean beaker. It's not clean now because my hands have been all over it. Normally I would do a nitric wash to get silver and base metals, things like that, but I'm not using nitric. So I've put hydrochloric acid in there and some bleach. Now I'm just going to put it on some low heat, and I'll just have to collect all the gold and silver and whatever else. It'll probably come out dirty gold, but it's okay, it'll go with the rest of it and all be refined at the end. The main thing here is showing you guys that we can get the gold without using nitric. I've just put the pins, all the gold bits of gold and pins and so on, into hydrochloric acid with some bleach. I've got the ash on that side. I just had it boil over, and I have a a container like that, but I didn't use it, and I'm spewing. I wish I did, but I don't think I would have lost much. And it's all in a big tray anyway, so I'll clean off the hot plate later, all down into the tray, and I'll clean all the tray, mop it all up with paper, and save anything that went out. That's why I have it in this big tray, big black tray. But I've got a container down here and I should have used it. Anyway, so now it's just a matter of waiting for these two to process and filter them, combine it all and drop the gold. I'm going to take these both inside where it's cooler and I'm going to filter them, and I'll put them into the one container. The aqua from there and the aqua from there. This one is the IC chips, this one is the pins, etc. and boards. So I'll put them into one mixture and then drop the gold. A nice clean beaker, so that when I'm ready to drop the gold it'll be a nice clean beaker. I've got the lab filter in there and I'm going to start filtering. It's finished filtering. And as you can see, there's a lot of pulp, ash, whatever you want to call it, in the filter. But it's still a very dark solution. And just in case there's any micro dust particles or ash particles in there, I want this as clean as possible to drop the gold. So what I'm going to do is get rid of the filter paper, put 2 cotton balls in there, and then I'm going to refilter it. So I'll tip all this back into the dirty beaker so that I can then filter it back into this clean beaker, ready to drop it. So I've talked a lot about our weather in my videos lately, and this is the most recent update for our weather.
Welcome back. Today was slightly milder than recent days with a top of 33.5 degrees, but we are on track to record our hottest summer ever. So far we've had 13 days at 40 degrees or higher and 31 days of 35 degrees or higher.
So what do you reckon of that? It's been a stinking hot summer, and it's only a week to go. Still no sign of cooling down. There's our forecast for the last week of summer. Luckily it's not up in the higher 30s, but still mid 30s, which is still pretty warm. It's I can't wait for it to be over. I'm sick of it. Okay, you can see it's nice and clear now. It's been filtered, double filtered, and I'm going to take it outside to put some SMB in because it gives us horrible fumes, and we'll have something to show soon, hopefully. Got the sodium metabisulfite in some distilled water. Should be a concentrated mix, and I'm now going to pour it in and we'll come back when I see what we got. Okay, so I've got the gold here. It's very green looking. It doesn't look very nice at all because it's very dirty, but that's okay. The rest of it I've got is dirty as well. It all has to be refined. So I'll get my girlfriend to hold the camera while I tip this in and see what we got. Alrighty, so some of it's stuck in the bowl. I'll just try and get this out of the bowl. Actually, I've got to tear the container first. It's very green. Must have a lot of copper in it still. Unless it's just my eyes that are lighting in here. Now, a lot of people would think that a desktop computer would have more gold than a laptop because it's bigger and it's got all the gold fingers and so on, but it's not necessarily the case because laptops, being so condensed, have everything smaller and more compact. There's just a lot smaller, that's all. So it's probably the same amount of gold in chips, but they're smaller and more compact. 210 grams, sorry, 2.1 grams of gold from the desktop. Now you've also got to take into account that it varies from maker to maker and age. So, you know, an older desktop would have more than a newer desktop. Depends on the brand of the desktop, if it's a cheap one or a, you know, good quality one. So this is not a true indication, it's just a rough guide. I hope you liked what you've seen, and I will endeavour to get some more out to you soon. Bye.